It's 13, well let me see, I'm sorry, it's 15 degrees Fahrenheit outside and 42 in here, and it feels a lot colder than 42 degrees in here, to be honest with you. Today is Friday, I believe it's the 29th of December 2017, and it's early. It's a little earlier for me right now. What do I mean by early? Well, I have no idea here. Let's wait for the computer to start up. I'm thinking it's probably 9 o'clock. Okay, what did I buy? Well, this is an Antron, or a Solarcom A99, Antron 99. It's a CB antenna. That's all it is. It's an 18-footer. They've been around for years. They work. You don't go nuts. They're just a good antenna. You don't worry about them. Are there better ones out there? Probably. Are they that much better? Who knows? Are there worse ones out there? Oh yeah. But these have been around for a long time. And never had any problems with them. I used to sell these in my store all the time. Now, I bought this from a place that I'm aware of, but I've never used. Copper Electronics. Alright, so basically this is the antenna. It's 3 pieces. It's a fiberglass structure, but again, there's always something in it. You can't transmit off fiberglass, so there's something in there. The fiberglass is just a means or a tool to hold up the wire that's within. You know, it's almost like having an aluminum antenna, but this way it's cheaper for them because they can make it, because it's easier and cheaper to make fiberglass and just stick a piece of wire in it than it is to make a whole aluminum antenna. So that's what they normally do. You know, and for the money though, it's a good, if you shake it, you can even hear the wire in it. But again, like I say, for the money, it's a good antenna. They've been around a long time. I think it's better than the Shakespeare Big Stick. It's like a Timex. You know, it's just there. You don't have to worry about it. You know, it's a good antenna. Well, they used to be. Let's put it that way. Right? I have no idea how they are now. Just do it as it tells you to do, and not as I tell you. Do as it says, not as I say. And I think you'll be okay. Now it comes with all the mounting hardware and everything you need. And if you can get through it without dropping washers, you'll be all set. And then I'm going to end up dropping the stick. There it is. The only thing you're going to need is a piece of pipe. And that'll determine on you as far as how tall you want it to be, how high you want it to be. So that's all on you. I mean, if you're kind of out in the open, you don't have to go real high with these things. I mean, you know, you put it on a 10-foot pole on your roof, and as long as you got a good tripod up there, or you have it off the side on a peak mount or something, that's going to be more than enough. You don't need guide wires. There's not a lot of wind on this thing. Again, it's really not a bad antenna. Now, if you're going to use this like I'm doing with the channel locks on here, you may want to put a rag on it. That's up to you. Okay, so there's the antenna. Now, I do have some galvanized pipe out there. I'll probably just put it on a piece of galvanized and just lay it up against the side of the building for now. I'm not going to put it up. I'll just lay it there so it's not resting on the ground. So I'll put a pipe on it and just rest it up against the building and don't even worry about it. And that's all she wrote. Why did they give you all these nuts and bolts? I don't remember any reasoning behind having all these nuts and bolts on here. Now another thing is you want to make sure you don't do. When you put this around the base of the antenna and the pipe, you don't want to go nuts on this and go ape shit and tighten it down, because you can crack the fiberglass down on the bottom. So you just want it tight, you know, snug. You know, don't be putting a 3-foot bar on it, you know, or a 1-foot breaker bar or ratchet and biting down onto this thing like it's gonna be out there in hurricane force winds. You know, you end up wrecking the antenna. It'll take the winds, you know, you don't have to bite down on it. Put out there instead. It's cold out, but I don't want to leave the door open. And before I do anything to it, I also want to put a piece of coax on it so that I'll be able to use it for now. So I got to see what I have over there. Do I need to make one up, or do I have one made up? And do I have some? Oh yeah, I do have some of the thin stuff. I don't need anything super heavy. I'm not going to run more than a few watts through it. I mean, even if I use the RG8X, I mean, that's still good for, like, you know, I don't know, 1,000 watts or something. So, I mean, it'll be run more than I'll ever need. Alright, so listen, let me get some of that done and I'll be back. At least I don't have to go out. There's a call on the Coast Guard. But I turned in all my exposure suits and things. And you can't go out in this weather without an exposure suit. They won't even let you out there without an exposure suit. And because they're kind of fitted to you, you know, they're not going to let you go out there and just say, okay, well, here's one you can use. So that's not going to happen. I remember going out there, and I'm sure you guys in the Coast Guard know, you go out there in the wintertime and there's, when the water, salt water comes over the bow, it freezes instantly on the bow rails and everything. I mean, it gets cold out there. Real cold, real quick. Now, I gotta give myself a little bit of leeway right here. So let me see here if I can loosen it up. In here, if I can see it, I can probably loosen it up. A little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, a whole lot more. Alright, I didn't know I had that much in here. Okay. Whoa. Sawdust. Sometimes I use that for ice. We gotta watch what we use sometimes because of the boys. We do have some, you know, pet-friendly rock salt stuff, but you still have to pay attention. So sometimes we'll mix it up with a little bit of sawdust. Alright, let's put you in here for a minute. Oh, we're over here. Okay, let me put you over here for a minute. Come on, come on, be nice. So what I got to do is, I got to figure how high am I going to put this antenna. Well, I'm thinking no more and about 10 feet off the roof. So I'm going to need about 20 feet of coax out here. Here we go. Okay, see that? Alright, put that back down there for now. I'll finish all that off in a minute. So we're going to need about 20 feet. I'll make it 25 feet. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 feet. Or 27, somewhere around there. Okay, so that's done. So let me put you back up here. Oh, I didn't mean to take you out there in that cold, guys. Whew. Let's get this out of the way. Alright, now, as a rule, if you spread your arms out, spread them out across your chest and kind of pull back a little bit, and you do that with a piece of rope or string in your hand, you're probably going to come real close to 6 feet. I mean, not unless you're a real little person, that's another story. But you got to be close. I'm 6, well, I don't know what I am now, but I'm probably 6'2" with the bad back shrinking. But right now, well, you can't see what I'm doing, but if you kind of stretch it out, no, you can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it. All right, anyway, what I'm doing is I'm holding one end between my pointer and my thumb, and I'm pushing it right out to the end. I'm doing the same thing on the other arm, and I've got my arms back just a little bit so that the wire is leaning on my chest. Alright, and that's going to put me right about here. So that should be close to 6 feet. So if that's 6, I'm going to do that again. Okay, so that means that's 12. That's 18. I'll do one more. And that should get me close to 24 feet, give or take. But on CB, it'll put me into where I need to be. It's not a big deal. Alright, so then we'll take it there and we'll cut it. Now it's a good idea to check to see what your arm span is. So if you do ever have to measure something, you have an idea. Because if you got a 6 foot span and you need 3 feet, well, you just do your 6 and then fold in half and you got 3. You can always guesstimate a foot if you need like 2 feet. But if you know your body, you'll kind of know what you need to do and your measurements. I mean, Noah built the ark by using a cubic, which was the forearm from here to the elbow. That was a cubic. So now you don't need to the inch, not at this point anyway. Okay, I got you off there. I know you could. There you go. So, all right. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to nibble this off right about there. And then I won't have to trim it as much because I'm trimming it right here. Make sure that the shield and the center is not touching. You don't want any little pieces of braid or anything getting in the way. Because sometimes it'll kind of like hang in there. And one little piece the size of your hair or smaller can become a nightmare. A living hell. Again, I don't want to use that end because when I used the cutters on it, it kind of crimped it a little bit. And I want to make sure I have a clean end. Because I don't want to take any chances of that touching. So I want a nice clean cut. I'm going to twist the wire. I'm going to Put a little flux on the wire. Huh. Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it, guys? The brush came off the stick. I'm trying to put flux on the wire with the end of the stick. Where'd all the brush go? So anyway, let me just put that there like that for now. Put a little tin on it. Put a little tin on it. Now there's that little wire there. I'll get that out of the way, otherwise it'll end up getting stuck to this one. And we will have a nightmare going on. Okay, so that's that. Again, I'm going to take a little piece of this. I find that it also helps, believe it or not. Let me get a connector and a reducer. I need a PL259 and a 176. Okay. Take the sleeve. Make sure we get that collar off. And on the wire before we do anything. Now when I take this, we'll slide this down over that shield so it's grounded. I also noticed by putting that little piece of rubber, wherever the hell it just went, I guess, oh here it is, I can cut another one if I had to. By putting this over here, it kind of helps, believe it or not, to keep tension on the system so that it doesn't want to come unscrewed, if you know what I mean. Now again, let me get the pliers so I can just snug it down a little bit. Give it a little glove lock. When we do this, we don't want to do it on the threads, because if we do it on the threads, we're not going to be able to get the sleeve over it. Okay, let me put this over here. Put a little weight on that for a minute so I can see what the hell I'm doing here. There. And suck some solder up into that. We don't want it just on the tip, we want to bring it into the tip. So it's just like sweating a pipe. If you bring the solder iron back on the piece a little bit, it'll suck the solder back there for you. Right. Again, you don't want to do it so much that it starts to melt anything. So you got to know when to stop. If you're not sure, stop and try it. Test it with a meter. As long as you got continuity and you got no shorts, you should be okay. Okay. Take my little brush. Normally I have a little sandpaper over here for this, but we'll do that. Okay. Come on. There we go. Now, let me get the other end up here and we'll check it. And we'll check it for shorts and for continuity. So, right now I want to hear a beep. I want to hear that. I'm going to touch this end and this end. That's what I want. That tells me that the wire in the middle from end to end is connected to the connectors. Now, I'm going to go from the center to the outside. And I don't want to hear any sound. Good, no sound. So that tells me that there's no shorts between the center wire and the case, the shield. Now if I go from here to here, I should hear it again. So that tells me I've got a good ground. So everything is good. So that tells me now this is safe to put onto the antenna. Now just for the hell of it, let me see what I got here for a measurement. I want to see something. Okay, that's 3 feet to there. Okay. So let's see here. There's 3, 6, 9, racking around myself here. 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 23, 24, 24 feet. That, I told you, that's how it works. Know your body, and you can use it as a tool. In more ways than one. You don't need any practice to use it as your tool. And then if you're in the arts, that's another tool, all right? But we're not talking that kind of tool. Then it's more of a weapon than it is a tool. Okay, so we're done with that. So now I can hook the antenna up to the pipe. Yes, you're fall on the floor. You're going to do it anyway. I got to get a, yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I got to find a deep socket here. There we go. 1/4 inch. Oh wait, is this one already on there? Oh, I already got one on there. Okay. So I'm going to go out there now. I won't take you out there. I'll save you from the cold air. I'll be right back. Alright, there it is. It's a little crooked. I'm not going to go crazy just now. Once I bring it down and get it flat, then at that point I'll just make it straight. You want to try to make it straight, and you want to use as much of that bottom piece as possible with your clamps spread out, because if they're too close together, it's not going to have the advantages that it needs to keep the antenna upright. Coax is screwed in. You want to have a little bit of extra slop in your coax so that it's not pulling hard on the connector, and you want to put a strain relief so that it doesn't pull hard. And the other thing is you want to seal the outside connectors, because if water gets in there within 6 months, 7 months, you can have a corrosion thing going on in there and never know it, and the next thing you know your SWRs are going to start to creep up. So you want to make sure that you seal your connectors. Alright, I didn't spray it or seal it just yet because, like I said, I just have it leaning there. You can actually see it right there. That pipe is kind of crooked. So I mean, I've got to put it up anyway, but I'm just going to wait for a nicer day. We're talking about another week or so with this cold weather. So that's kind of it right there. So when I go to install it right, I will spray some sealant on there. Another thing you want to watch out is if you're going to use zip ties as a strain relief, you know, on the coax as you come down the pole, make sure the zip ties that you're going to use are going to work in the cold weather. Like for instance, all the ones I have, they'll snap if I went out there right now and tried to put them on there. So they're not going to put up with the elements. All right, so you want to make sure that you have one that's going to deal with the elements, so you don't have to worry about them breaking off when you think they're doing their job. The other thing is you can just tape it tightly with some good tape, and then you can put a zip tie around the tape to keep the tape from unrolling. If it hasn't got that much pressure on it, it may hold up, but the best thing is just get the right stuff. Alright, that's it for now. What time is it anyway? It's 3 o'clock. I got to get up to Tractor Supply. I'll catch you guys later.